Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about gender and race quotas and how the globalists use quotas to destroy all merit in Western society and thus undermine the very concept, the very underpinning of the middle class, the Western middle class, and the knock-on effect of that, of course, is to eradicate the things that are held dear by the middle class, such as clean and honest and fair voting, the rule of law, due legal process, and so on. These are the things cherished by the middle class because these make the rules of the social rules of engagement very clear, which then allow those who are prepared to work hard, study hard, be of sober and sensible and prudent habits. It allows people like that to go places, to get ahead, to do quite well for themselves. And this is the class of people who have that capability to do well for themselves through hard work and application. This gives the globalists the opportunity to eradicate and destroy that middle class, and they're going about it as much as they can. Now, I'm looking at an article here that's I think only a couple of days old, and it's saying that unless women are guaranteed not just places in parliament in the Western world, but also senior positions in cabinet and ministries, senior positions in government, guaranteed, by the way, not earned by merit, but guaranteed through quotas. Unless that happens, then women are getting a raw deal. So this comes back to this equity thing. Outcomes must be equal. That means you can have as many dumb people as you have bright people, say, in parliament, or in any sort of situation. So politics has to be made more appealing to women. And how do you do that? By guaranteeing them positions, meritless positions. They're just given and gifted everything in the same way that university degrees are gifted, high school graduation gifted, executive jobs gifted, and so on and so on. It must be gifted, merit-free, and that creates a more equal society somehow. So this article, which covers sort of Australia amongst other countries, is saying that proof of the misogyny, this evil Nazi fascist misogyny, was that this useless, hopeless fucking prime minister should never even been given the job. She's only given the job because she hopefully win the women's vote. The only reason she got the job was because of that. And the party machine, all straight white males, gave her that job because she was useless and she was kicked out. That is proof of Nazi fascist misogyny everywhere. Now, they then reference some other countries, and I don't know why they're doing this, but there are countries like Cuba and so on, Nicaragua, Rwanda, and so on. These basket case poor countries, and they're saying, well, look how well they're doing. They've got lots of women in parliament, and that's because parliament doesn't make any decisions. There's a few people at the top, form an oligarchy or have a monarchy or have a monopoly on power. So they create these parliaments that are just like junior high school debating clubs or something. They've got no power, they're useless, they're a waste of time. And so, of course, they shove women in that because the United Nations is saying, well, hey, we'll give you lots and lots of money, Mr. Corrupt Warlord, in some basket case in Africa. We'll give you lots and lots of money to do whatever, but you got to put a lot of black lesbians in parliament. Done, he says, done. Just hand over the cash and I'm yours. So why they're citing those as examples is quite beyond me. But they're talking about here that really the only way to achieve equity is by quotas. There is no other way. And by extension, all forms of merit must be taken away, must be removed, must be crushed along with the middle class. Because merit favours people who work hard, people that study hard, people that commit themselves, brighter people, industrious people who are sensible, and it favours a merit system favours them. Not that the wrong people can't make it through and so on. They do. Not that the very rich don't appoint their useless kids into big jobs. They do, but there's very few people who are that rich. But as soon as you go down the gender equity, quotas path and gender equity and all that sort of thing, then you're putting a lot of people in there who are fucking useless. It's not just the rich kid's son or daughter that's getting the gig. So anyway, this is the scene here, and it's talking about, there must be more female faces. And even though there are more women in Parliament now than there were, say, 10, 20 years ago, it's not enough. It's not pure 100% equity. It must be exact equity. Only equity can solve this misogyny or something. They seem a bit vague on this. What's the problem? Now they're talking about there's like sex discrimination. There's a toxic environment here in Australia. The way women are treated, it's diabolical. 1 in 3 women is raped, sexually harassed. Women have this terrible disadvantage. They're victims that must be protected by special laws to protect them from this Nazi fascist misogyny that's everywhere. But hold on a minute. Wait a minute. You just said in the previous paragraph that women are equal and deserve equality. How can they then be terrible victims? Victims that need special protection, special laws to protect them. How can they be both? Hey, stop asking difficult questions. By asking a question like that, you must be a Nazi. There you go. There's proof. So, and the women are suffering unsafe conditions, whatever the fuck that means, and they have power imbalances, gender inequality, women are excluded. Now, the problem's been, it's just men's bad behaviour. It's that fucking Nazi misogyny again. And some of the real shrinking violets from so they've just given a list of women who've made complaints. Now, one of them is this utter fucking bimbo who was put into Parliament. There's another one who was alleged committed various offences in terms of using her or misusing the parliamentary expenses, and another couple there. But the way they're writing it here, it wasn't that. They've done nothing wrong. It's those damn fucking misogynists again. Nazis. They did it. So women don't have to be accountable for their behaviour, because if anything goes wrong, it's because they're women and because of the Nazi misogyny. So just looking sort of through this, then they've got quotes from radical leftist feminist activists. Here's a lesbian transgender at the Global Institute for Women's Leadership, and says Australia's falling behind, and we need more women in Parliament, and only quotas can fix it. And just the articles here, and there's a couple I guess I'm going from and through at the same time. You must have gender parity. Gender parity is the only objective. Do you need qualified people, or people that know what they're doing, or people that contribute to the well-being of the society? Of course not. Of course not. You need gender fucking parity. That's the issue here. So now they're saying that the media, which is globalist controlled, about as left-wing as you can get, apparently the media are also they're Nazis as well, because they don't portray women in a positive enough light. So all these endless articles we have about wicked evil men, white supremacy, Nazis, fascists, all men are bad, all of these sort of things, all these, well, no, that's all right. But if you say anything even remotely negative about a woman that might be gendered or stereotypical, do it the other way, that's fine. But against women, it's just simply not allowed. And there's a woman in Parliament who wasn't married and had no children. That's it, misogyny. Whoever said that was a fucking Nazi. So it just goes on, and but the primary point here is that they talk about there aren't enough black women, there aren't enough women, and that sort of thing. So there's not even the slightest attempt to give a balanced coverage here. The only acceptable outcome is absolute gender parity. That and only that, they say, will satisfy them. but on what basis they want this or demand it or require it, and how will it make Australia or anywhere a better place? No, that's not the question. The question is equity, and that's the answer is equity, and that's how it goes. So it's insane that this sort of shit appeared. It passes for news and journalism. I mean, all it is fucking propaganda. But there you go. So, and then the final, will it get any easier for women of the future? The fact that these gender and race quotas they're demanding are the only solution. How about women work harder? How about women, apply themselves? How about women get do the hard yards necessary to get these roles and to be picked on the basis of being the best candidate. For at the moment, the only reason women are getting jobs are getting these roles is simply because they're women, not because they're competent or qualified. Not that every man in there is qualified; they're not. And again, the rich people are still levering, using the leverage of their wealth to get their kids into cozy jobs, and that's going to continue. But they're only a tiny proportion of the population. The race gender quota ideological fanatics and everything, they're everywhere, and that's different. So the closes here, they're obviously being sexist, and it's misogynistic and it's evil and fascist, Nazis. That's what they do. But they can't say why should these quotas be in place. But the end result, of course, is it's a great way to undermine the middle class, a great way to undermine the West. I'm using race and gender quotas because then everyone can be appointed on the basis of some quota, and they can't. There's no merit left, and with all merit gone, then Western society collapses, and that's how it's going to be. You've been with Tassus today, your Pushback Challenge. Thank you for listening.